Hello and welcome back to the Success Catalyst. Today, I'm super excited to have an exceptional guest, Simon Davis, a remarkable entrepreneur whose journey from a young businessman to a leading personal development coach is truly inspiring. Simon's early ventures included making and selling shorts at just 10 years old, and his drive only grew from there. He has navigated diverse industries from professional snowboarding to aviation to real estate investing, always achieving remarkable success. Simon's latest achievement is in the personal development field, where he has quickly risen through the ranks as a PGI consultant and coach. In record time, he achieved bronze pin status in just 12 days and silver pin status in just 90 days. His rapid success and dedication to helping others unlock their potential have made him a standout figure in the personal development community. Join me as I dive into Simon's incredible story, his achievements with PGI, and his insights into achieving success. This episode is going to be full of golden nuggets, so stay tuned. Welcome to the show, Simon.
Hi, thank you very much. I'm honored to be here.
And I'm super excited to have you. Thank you for joining me today on the Success Catalyst podcast. So, Simon, what initially drew you to the PGI Consultant and Coaching program, and how did you get started with it?
Well, I was in PGI prior to the consulting. I was in the one-year BPC coaching program. I initially bought a course. It was Science of Getting Rich, which is actually pretty funny now that I think about it, because I am in the new movie Science of Getting Rich. Just less than 2 years ago, I saw that, and that's what sparked. I started to hear some stuff that I'd never heard before. It resonated within me. There was a lot of frustration that I was going through at the time. I was looking to do some different stuff in my life, but I didn't know how, and every time I tried, I was failed. So, like that saying goes, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Well, the teachers started to appear on social media, John Assaraf, Bob Proctor, lots of those guys, Arash, that worked for PGI at the time. I started hearing all sorts of stuff, and I was like, what is this? And it made, I don't know that it made sense at the time, but it felt good and it sounded good. Rewind 16 years prior when The Secret came out, I thought it was all a bunch of foo-foo and a bunch of BS, and I was, obviously small-minded, but I was in a position now, I was like, I'll try anything. And the stuff that I was listening to was completely sparking my interest, and I became obsessed with it. And so I bought Science Getting Rich. I started watching, I started getting close to the end of it. And then there was a webinar for PGI that a gentleman named Arash was hosting, and Melissa actually as well, I believe, and Monica. And so I really loved what I was hearing. So I ended up getting issued a success advisor. So I had a 30-minute call. So I got on the call, had a chat with Arash, basically breaking down where I was, what I wanted to do, what my blocks and barriers were. And, and I had looked into all the programs at PGI already. And I basically just said, what's the path, that I should be on? Which courses should I take first? Which should I do? So for me, I wanted a pretty in-depth, I wanted to break down everything about me. So I did the BPC one-year coaching program where we had like 1 or 2 calls a week. We studied, we did Winner's Image, You Were Born Rich, Science of Getting Rich, Working with the Law, the Success Puzzle. And during all this, I was, reading all the books. If Bob said, this book, like U Squared or Power of Awareness, it was like pause, Amazon, get it ordered, get reading it right away. So I just basically consumed the stuff. And I kept hearing the word repetition. And I guess I was really lucky that I was like, I don't know, I would almost say it was almost like an addiction. I just had to listen to it. I just wanted to hear more and more and more. And what I didn't realize at the time, but I know now, was the more I was listening to it, and I mean, sometimes I would just be listening, but doing other things, but it was
Mhm.
playing,
In the
and I put
background.
my I put my earbuds in and go to sleep and and have some lessons or whatever it was, play low. But and so it was basically sinking into my subconscious mind, and it became the new blueprint and became my new program. And looking back now and seeing where I am, and I just want to definitely just became a product of the product.
Mhm.
Yeah, everything and yeah, everything that I used to do no longer exists. All my habits, my beliefs, how I live today is a completely new human being than
Wow.
2 years. So you hear Bob say, like, if you really get into this material, you really study it hard, you'll need a telescope to look back at your old life. I use that too to my clients because it's so true. I just can't even fathom how I used to live and my belief pattern and the way I lived. Like, I was upset and living in doubt and worry and fear. And I was very indecisive. I was really good at procrastination, all that sort of stuff. But through my transformation, I got rid of all that stuff. And I don't, I know what fear is now, and I still have it as I'm always, leveling up. But I know what it is, and I know what to do with it and stuff. And so I wanted to quit my job. I was a helicopter by trade. I had a close call, very close, like, probably the closest in my whole career. And so I gave DP a call. And I just said, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm thinking. Um, and, he challenged me pretty good. And before I knew it, the next day I told my boss I quit, and I jumped in as a consultant, had no clients, no nothing, didn't know anything about the consulting program other than that it existed. Hadn't really looked into it too much, knew that I, wanted to get into it. But I didn't even wait to get my first client, and I already had quit my job. I really jumped off the cliff without any parachute or wings, and but I grew some on the way down real quick. And I think that was a big part, was that I bet on myself, and I bet on the material at PGI, and I I knew the material was the best material out, as far as I'm concerned. And I could feel a lot of things in me changing and shifting, and I now had the belief of I can do anything as long as I put my mind to it. And I was creating very good discipline in my life. So if you've got discipline and and some knowledge and some persistence and consistency, the results are going to change really quick. So I just added that all up with the fact that I don't have a choice now
Mhm.
but to go out and succeed, because I still got bills and mortgages and kids and stuff to pay for. Then I really stood a stronger chance, I think, because there is no failing. There's no option to fail. There's no, it wouldn't have mattered what I had to do. I would have had to have done it. And so I just took that leap of faith that you hear about, and I was absolutely horrified in fear. I almost turned around like 5 times driving away from where I quit. And then I thought, well, I can't get my job back, because, like, when I quit, it wasn't really super nice. It was like the most I'm out of here type thing.
Mm.
But I did it, and I haven't looked back.
Wow. Such an amazing story, Simon. Thank you for sharing this with us. And if you can let me summarize. So first of all, you fell in love with the idea. You fell in love with the kind of message that Bob Proctor was sharing and is still sharing, even though he passed away. And then repetition is key. And I can totally relate to your story, because I started with the 1 year coaching program as well. And before that, I
Oh,
subscribed to the Science of Getting Rich for just a few weeks before I figured out that, hey, there's a 1 year long coaching program. So I signed up for it immediately. And it only took me one video from Bob that I discovered on YouTube by accident for me to sign up. That was like, no doubt, this guy is talking some really good sense and explaining things in such a scientific way. This is the first time I hear anybody talking about manifesting and the science of getting rich and concepts like that the first time, and really explaining it scientifically. And then I guess what you did is make a decision. That's one of the most important components of success. Make a decision and don't look back. You quit your job and you burn the bridge. There's no turning back. I love that.
Yeah, I burned the boats for sure,
Yeah.
100% there. I couldn't have got that job back if I wanted. I burnt that boat for sure. Yeah, and that's the hardest thing. You know, there's so much fear that blocks your decision, but when you get rid of it and you know what's on the other side and you believe in yourself and you bet on yourself and you believe in the material, it was a really easy decision to drive away that day. You know, I had all sorts of thoughts coming in, but I know what to do with them now. Just yank them out like they're weeds and replace them with good thoughts. You know, like, what are you going to do? What if this happens? And I know when, you know, when my mind starts going, what if this? It's just fear-based. Recognize it. Don't give it any energy, no emotion. It'll die a fast death on its own if you don't give it any emotion. But make sure, and you know, I would plant something else. This is going to happen. Actually, that's not what's going to happen. This is going to happen. I'm going to get lots of clients. I'm going to help carry Bob's legacy out. You know, I'm going to live this nice life. This is how, you know, but it was a lot of back and forth. You know, there's, you know, the ego steps in, the paradigm is just all over you, like, you know, like a monkey, a gorilla on your back. But as long as you understand what you're dealing with, you know, then you can sort of like, this doesn't work for me. This thought doesn't work for me. I'm going to channel these new positive thoughts and put them towards my goal, and put that thought energy on my goal rather than let it just go and seep into my paradigm and just react to whatever it is, right?
You mentioned something very important, that is belief. And sometimes people, like our clients, for example, do not believe in themselves as we believe in them. And this, I think, why having a mentor or a coach is crucial, especially if you're not familiar with this process of manifesting, this process of achieving really massive results. If you haven't done it before, you're probably lacking some knowledge that only a mentor or a coach can provide. So I want to know more about your success stories, especially with your clients. Now that you've coached so many clients, you've achieved bronze pin status in just 12 days and silver pin status in 90 days. That is truly remarkable. So for our listeners who are not familiar with these terms, bronze pin and silver pin, can you explain more about what they are and what do they represent?
Yeah, so a bronze pin is an acknowledgement and an achievement within PGI as a consultant. And it's the very first pin. It's the lower, you know, the lowest of all pins. It's the first one you would get, and it's 20 clients within a 12-month period. And yeah, I did it. I actually did it in one day. It just took 12
Wow.
days for me to wrangle up. I held a Zoom with, I think it was 21 or 22 people on a Sunday night. And they all, my very first Zoom, scared, absolutely terrified. What had happened prior to that was I carried around a book, and I told myself I was going to attract these people. I wasn't going to look for them. You know, so I set the intention, I made a goal, and I got on with the work, helping as many people as I could, being of service. And then anytime somebody reached out to me that wanted to talk about mindset, I put them on this list. And so when I had 20, I decided, okay, I'm going to have a Zoom on a Sunday night, and I'm going to present this new course, TIR, to these people. And, you know, I had never done this before. Fear was everywhere. But I was dead set on doing it. And I had the belief. I believe that I was going to close every single one of them. And that they would, I could help them all, because they all had a lot of limiting beliefs, much like myself. And, you know, but prior to the Zoom, fear was so, I remember I was just stuttering a little bit, and then I decided to just calm down. I just took a couple deep breaths as people were talking. Halfway through, maybe a little after, a guy put his hand up and goes, "I'm in." And I was like, I haven't even told you the price or anything. He goes, I don't care.
Oh
I
my
seen your
God.
success. I want what you have. I'm in. And I'm like, well, I didn't even tell him how much. And so at that point, I'm like, I'm going to go up a little more than what I initially thought I was going to sell it for. And I thought I can really deliver, because my intention is to give people the best and help them. And my new goal was, my new goal became, I want to see others reach their goals and have a part of that, and show them and help them unlock their true potential with Bob's work and a little bit of mine, and being able to just be at least the facilitator and the person that introduces them to this work, and then keep them involved and whatnot, because they, some clients like to stray and stuff. I always consider myself sort of the dog that herds the cattle. There's always that calf that's taken off left. Like, well, we'll get back in line here. Your goal's not over here. It's over here. So keep on that line. So hands started going up, and I was just blown away. I had made more in 2 hours than I would have in 4 years of working.
Wow. Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Oh my God.
Yeah. And so I got off and I was jumping up and down and screaming and yelling and crying, just going, what just happened? I was outside going like this, thank you, God, thank you, source, thank you, universe. Oh, again, crying. Because what I wanted to do, I accomplished really quick. And looking back now, I just fought fear dead on.
Mm-hmm.
It came like it was head on, like let's go. And it was, because it was there and it was there and it was strong. I'd never done this. Who am I? You barely know the consult, like TRR, but I had all this really good stuff from BPC. I knew Bob's material quite well, and I'd become a product of the product. And I believe my intention was really good. And these people now, my first 20, they're like some of my closest friends now. I do real estate deals with them. I have a mastermind group with them that we've done a lot of stuff with. So if anybody thinks that the law of attraction is not real, put me on a stage with a debate and we'll go toe to toe, and I'll prove to you, because the stuff that's happened in my life is 100% attracted for sure.
You
And
are
as
the
we know,
living
that's
proof. I love that.
yeah, I live it, and so the stuff that I didn't believe in before happened, and then it's not hard to believe now. Even what I'm doing just in the last week, I've had stuff like coincidences, which I don't believe in,
Mhm.
happen that are so huge. I just look and I'm like, really, that was a good one, because I know there's a path laid out for me, and I know what I need to do to accomplish it. The how is none of my business, which is great. That was a big relief when I figured that one out. And I'm really big into being in service. Pay it forward, help as many people as you can, because the gift in life is we're humans and we're spiritual beings, but we're living in a physical body and having a physical experience. So of course we're attracted to physical things. So humans are always trying to gather and get. And I was guilty of that for sure for many, many years. And now I see the gift is in giving, not getting.
Mhm.
If I can go out and just help others and give all day, there's so many wins involved with that. I'm raising my vibration. I feel good. I'm raising theirs. That's gonna go down, flow downhill to their kids or to their coworkers or their husbands or wives. And then the alignment of the compound energy. So now if I really look at it, what am I going to attract? My vibration's high, my goals are up here on this frequency. I'm going to attract more better in my life.
Mhm.
So the more when you break it down, it is a science of getting rich is a science or success. The more I go out and help others, the richer I get by default. That's just how it works. And the riches that come to you, I don't mean just financial, that's there. But to me, the finances is really far down the list. It's how I live, it's how I believe, I have a full control over how I think now. And which means I have control over my feelings, which is great. And
Yeah,
so
that's
I
true
live
wealth.
yeah, that's rich. Like that, I am very rich, like with that, because that was not all the case. And some of my clients now, they've taken on basically the same role. I've had 6 or 7 of them retire within 8 months of starting, and they didn't even know what personal development was before meeting me. And they've just used the system and Bob's material and TIR and implemented it into their life. And they're some of their lives, I mean, I just look back at my life and go, I can't even believe this is real and this is happening in such a short period of time. But then I look at the people that I coach and mentor, and it's happening to them. And it just, that's the best gift. It's not, I like watching their wins and their growth more than experiencing mine. You know, some of them are doing absolutely massive stuff, you know, and they haven't even come up on 8 months of even knowing this material or even having a clue who Bob Proctor even was, you know. So but again, those are the people that are studying every day. They're the ones that have devoted their life to this material to make it, you know, I think some treat it like a hobby or a side thing. It's got to become your life. It's got to become priority. It's got to become, you know, it's a lifestyle. And then once it's become a lifestyle, then it's just how you live your life. And then it's really easy because everything's just habits now. I know to study. I know to meditate. I know to do my morning routines. I know to read a certain amount. I know to do certain things because I feel off if I don't do them. You know, now where before it was like the paradigm was involved going, oh, don't do this, go, you know, watch this or do something else. Those are my non-negotiables, you know, that because the more I learn about myself and my mind, the wealthier and richer I get in return. What a great trade-off. What a great trade-off.
Absolutely. You know, in the beginning, I think the paradigm would fight because this new lifestyle is unknown, right? And the paradigm fights everything that is unknown, that is foreign, alien to us. But eventually, once it gets familiar with it through repetition, as you said in the beginning, it becomes the new norm, the new lifestyle, the new way to be. And there's no other way because it's a proven way that is the best lifestyle we can get. Control over our emotion, high vibration at all times, being of service, getting all kinds of support through an amazing community, through an amazing mastermind, networking, really doing like all kinds of business with all kinds of people. That's like the best anyone can wish for. Plus the financial aspect as well, which is not to neglect as well. So the paradigm does not have any other excuses to deny it.
No, you're totally right. I didn't know if this life existed, to be honest with you. I didn't know it was in the cards for Simon Davis to be able to absolutely control every aspect of my life just from the start, right from the word go, because everything starts from a thought. And so I'm very conscious of what I'm thinking. I do all sorts of stuff. I set alarms every hour, once an hour, and I stop and just do a self-check. What vibration am I in? How am I thinking? How am I speaking? What environment am I in? Just real quick check. Takes seconds, but it gives me and I also do a little check on my phone because my phone is what goes off. Well, as soon as I press that off, you know, I see my goal on my screen. I'm giving my goal energy and I'm doing a self-check. And then I catch myself. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm around someone right now that's gossiping or something. I'm going to get rid of that. You know, those little self-checks, little tiny things become massive results, you know. And so I've come up with all sorts of little things that work for me to keep me out of that old, what I call stinking thinking, you know, because it's there, you know, it's there. It's, you know, it doesn't go away. You know, for the most part, it wants to pop in. That paradigm is, you know, it's doing push-ups. It's getting stronger when you're not looking. But as long as you're going to the gym, getting stronger every day, i.e. studying, you know, you can combat it. But if you don't, that thing's going to set in real, and it's going to come in strong. And then all of a sudden you're in a bad vibration. You're attracting things that you don't want. Your goals out, you're not on track with your goal. You know, then there's frustration, which is going to be, you know, that's a negative vibration. And then maybe resentment, guilt, and now you're just shot. Now you're back to living, you know, in stress and anxiety, which is a really bad vibration for your body to be in.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what it's like to be stressed. I know it sucked. I remember it's really,
Yeah, it does.
yeah, but I don't have that now. I actually have the ability to just, I think my body takes over. It's like, it's getting a negative vibration, and I know just to go, okay, pause, stop, go calm down, go meditate, and go listen to something that's gonna, go put Bob in, or go read one of the books, just check out and just go do something to get me back on that good vibration, and then carry on. And then I can go attack whatever. It's like I got my spiritual armor on to go do battle, because life's going to throw javelins all day, at you. But if you're open and exposed, because you didn't do your morning's practice, and you're studying, you're going to feel them, and I think that today I see them come. I just deflect them now, because I've got that armor on, because I'm doing the work. I'm doing the repetition. I'm really disciplined, because I heard early on, I forget who it was. They said, if you learn anything, learn two things: repetition and discipline. Discipline being number one, because if you have discipline, it out trumps anything, because you just give yourself an order, because you're supposed to do it. And I do all my time. I'm like, do it right now, Simon. And then I go and do it, because I know if I don't, I'm stepping back into procrastination and stuff. And I know that's terrible, because I came from there. I'm not motivated to do stuff most days. Nobody is. I don't want to go to the gym every day. I do. I didn't want to go to the gym yesterday. I procrastinated till 9 o'clock. But I wasn't going to bed until I did it, because there's no way I'm keeping up that discipline. So I went and did it, and I beat procrastination once again. So discipline is the one thing that I suggest anybody that gets into this material, learn it, and learn it good. Because when you have that, everything's a lot easier. I see a lot of people that battle trying to get this material, down their throat. And it's because they don't have any discipline. Therefore, the paradigm's just kicking their ass all over the place.
Definitely. Yeah, I agree. Discipline is maybe the most crucial aspect of success. If you're not disciplined, you will procrastinate, you will forget about your goal. Eventually, it will just like fade away. And discipline is also crucial for repetition. If you're not disciplined, you cannot really repeat that thought and that feeling and that action every day. And the habits that you mentioned are really quite simple to implement, like having an alarm going off on your phone and just checking out, like, what am I feeling? How am I reacting? Am I responding? Do I need a break? Do I need a few seconds to just breathe or meditate or just go read a good book for 5 minutes? And these are so simple to implement. Wherever you are, you have your phone on, you have whatever you need, like a guided meditation, a good book that you can read over the phone, a good article, maybe a short video that you can listen to, maybe some audio that you can listen to. Whatever it is you need to get your vibration high, and then to really become more aware. I think through the day we get sometimes distracted with whatever we are dealing with in our lives, and really training our minds to stay aware of our vibration, of our level of awareness, of consciousness, of the way we are feeling and we are reacting to people. That is definitely crucial to any types of success or health or well-being that we want to achieve.
Yeah, no, 100%. And watch the words too. Like, there's a famous quote Joe Dispenza says, and when I heard it, I was like, oh, whoa. And I've never forgot it. Words shape our reality. Like, words shape our personality. How we're speaking determines a lot. It shapes our personality, and our personality shapes our personal reality. So how you're speaking is going to also have a big effect on your results. So I'll just give an example. I used to say, I got to go grab my SHIT, which it wasn't that size stuff, but it's not that. I was constantly trying to fix some of the words to keep, because some of those are negative vibrational words. So watch how you're speaking, watch what's coming out of your mouth. And remember, I'm always thinking of that future self. How does he talk?
Yes.
What does he talk like? What's he saying? How does he carry himself? How does he listen? Always be looking at that person, and not staring at the old person, you know, and whatnot. I'm trying to break that and always be stepping up. I'm always trying to set a new bar and a higher self-image or winner's image, and try and work towards it so I can walk into those shoes and then, you know, getting ready to walk into the next ones. But yeah, all this work is really, you know, it's all wrapped around being consciously aware, because for the most part, people are just walking around absolutely conditioned to doing the same thing that they've done, that they got conditioned to do, you know. And there's something I heard a while ago as well. 50% of the stuff that we say, act, think, and feel is BS. And the other 50% we didn't put there. So we're either acting on someone else's stuff or something that is fabricated and isn't even real. But we have the ability to reprogram our program. You know, we've got all these viruses, and now I get to reprogram my new belief pattern. And my new belief pattern is aligned with that future self and the goal. And so it's like a magnet. All the protons, everything are all aligned in the same direction. So now I have a magnetic force. Before, it was like they were going everywhere and the magnet was dead. There was no magnet and stuff. So it's aligning all those things together to have that magnet work.
And you know, you mentioned Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he says something also very interesting about energy and emotions. He said that emotions are energy in motion. And that, I
Yeah.
think, is really beautiful.
Everything is energy. And when people realize that, and I didn't do very good in high school. I just sort of was just trying to get out of there as fast as I can. No post-secondary school. Don't come from riches or money or super wealthy parents or anything like that. When I learned the science, so it was like, oh wow, anybody can do this. Literally, and Bob too. I mean, Bob had what, great 2 months of education and stuff. So, you know, when I learned even just the basics about energy, everything is energy. I'm energy, your energy, this computer, this table, the car outside here, the paddle board that's right in front of me is all the energy. It's all vibrating at a different frequency. So then I heard something from Albert Einstein. It might be a little different, but for the most part, the same. When you match your vibration to the frequency of the good that you desire, it must manifest into reality. That's physics. It's science. It's not theology or science. It's going to happen. And so we need to get to that frequency. So we need to know where we are and what our goal is and what frequency that is. And it's usually going to be up there. So we need to consciously always be raising our frequency, our vibrations. And so for me, when I heard, you know, energy is never created or destroyed, it's always here, thought about that. I'm like, well, that's great. Everything that I want in life is already here. I just need to figure out what I need to do to get it, not how to get it, what I need to do. Well, I need to raise my vibration and work towards what it is that I want. And one of the energies that we can manipulate is thought energy. We have 60 to 70,000 thoughts come to us and through us throughout the day. Now, we can't monitor that many thoughts, obviously, but the ones that give us a feeling, there's a reason why we do, why we get a feeling attached to it. We recognize it. Instead of just letting it attach to our old conditioning, you know, let's shift that energy, you know, over here to where our goal is and start putting that energy on the good that we desire. And as we know, where you put your attentions, where you put your intention, where you put your energy, that's going to grow. So no different than a seed to a flower or to you know, even something poisonous, as Bob says. Anything that we put energy on is going to grow. So manipulate your thought energy to your goal. Well, it's going to grow. Pretty simple. That's like science, really easy science. I didn't know it because I wasn't in, like I said, I wasn't really big into school in high school and stuff, but that was easy enough to understand. Then it's just a matter of learning how to do it. And Bob's material is the best in the world, as far as I'm concerned, at learning how to do it, because he didn't come from big education either. He's broken it down to make it really simple that anybody can do it. There's nobody can't, you know, can say that, oh, I can't do it, it's too much for me. It's like, no, the only limit that you have is your thinking. Once you get rid of your limiting beliefs, and the world's your oyster. You could do, my goals just keep getting bigger and bigger as I understand that I will get them. I will achieve them. There's nothing in my way other than time. And I can, you know, we can bend and manipulate that too.
Yeah, definitely. And myself, you, Bob Proctor, all of us are really living proof that this can happen to anyone, because at some point in my life, in your life, in Bob's life, we were not aware of that level of success that we can achieve. But once we became aware, as you said, right now, your goals keep getting bigger, because once you achieve the goal and you know the process, you know the recipe, you'll figure out, well, I can achieve anything I want. I just need to put on put myself in tune with that frequency and then get tuned into it. And in order to do that, simple habits every day, implementing them throughout the day, and staying disciplined. That's all it takes.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's a total system. And when you know the system, like you just pointed out, implement that system into your daily life, and it's not really that hard. Like I accomplished a lot of stuff. There's other than the consulting stuff. When I was in the BPC, I achieved a ton of real estate success as well, which is where I sort of dragged a lot of my clients from the real estate world, because they had seen the success and they're like, how are you doing this? How are you getting all this? And I told them, I sent them something that I got. I don't know where I got it, but it was something Bob had said. And it was success is 5% skill and knowledge and 95% mindset. And I'm like, you guys are all operating at 5%.
Yeah.
I'm operating, I have the 5 and I got the 95. So if you look at why I'm 95% more successful in my results than you guys and girls, is because I have the 95. So when I showed them that and they understood that, and I had the results to back it up, they're like, well, I want the 95 too. So it doesn't surprise me that they all jumped on board that day, because they had seen my results and they wanted it too. And I just broke it down. I said, a car won't even back out of the driveway if it's running at 5%. And that's what you're operating at 5%. Get the 95, get the 95, and the 5 will just take care of itself. Like it's the 90, that's a big number.
Absolutely. And most people are still operating with 5%, and they still think that
100%.
this is the best they can get. This is the best kind of life they can get, that 9 to 5 job, maybe the next promotion, maybe the 15% increase in salary next year, if everything goes right. And they think this is it.
Yeah, I did too. I did too.
Yeah.
I remember when I turned 50, I'm 52 now. I was terrified. I'm like, this is my life. This is all I got. What am I going to do the rest of my life? My retirement. And if I had continued down that path, I would have had the most miserable retirement. Absolutely. Like I would have been like on a small pension. I would have had to watch my money. I wouldn't have been able to travel. I wouldn't be able, oh man. And so, and I was terrified of that. And that's sort of what got me into the personal development stuff, was I need to figure that I got to figure something else bigger and better to secure my next bunch of years. And now I tell people I coach, when I came in to BPC, I was asked, what is it that you want? And I didn't really have something specific, but I wanted these things. I want to do what I want, when I want, where I want, with who I want, and why I want. And I don't want any restrictions in life. And I live like that now. I don't even have a calendar, because I don't want someone having control over next week of what I'm doing, because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to live life how I want, when I want, where I want, with who I want. And then of course the financial part is great. I don't really even look at price tags now. If I want it, I get it. And if I can't get it, then I just figure out, what do I need to do to get it? Okay, I need to come up with some more capital. Well, that's okay. That's not hard. I mean, I understand that there's an abundance everywhere. Look outside. I'm looking at a lake that's probably, I don't know how many zillions of water drops are in that lake. There's leaves and trees. You just go outside. If you don't think that this world is abundant, go look at nature. That's all it is. There is no lack and scarcity. The only lack and scarcity is what's up here. It's our thinking. And when you get rid of that and you only see abundance and prosperity, well, you're only going to attract prosperity and abundance. And that's where I live, and so it's no surprise to me that I have all these coincidences of massive things coming to me, because I understand universal law.
I think coincidence is just a synonym of the word alignment. It's literally coincidence. And in other words, it means something is aligned with a path,
Yeah.
a goal, an end result, but we're just not aware of it. So we call it a miracle or coincidence because it just seems strange that why did that happen? Wow, that's so strange. But it's all part of a plan, and you just have to become more aware of that.
Yeah, I love that. I love that part. You just said it. Sorry to interrupt. It's all part of a plan. My life is already mapped out and planned. I almost want to sit back and watch it
Yeah.
with a bag of popcorn like a movie. And because it is, my life feels like a movie now, but I'm the star actor, and I used to be the extra in my own movie. And you'll hear that in BPC and around lots of different personal development. And it's true. It is completely true. And if we just sit back and are calm, which is one of the best gifts I was given too, as well as from this material, is to be able to live and from a calm state of mind. So I'm present. I'm truly living today. I'm in this present moment. I'm really enjoying this podcast with you. I'm not distracted of or resenting yesterday or fear of tomorrow. And that's how I used to live. And the Dalai Lama said it perfectly. If you're in fear of what's happening tomorrow and you're regretting yesterday, well, you're not present. You're not really living. And most people live their life like that and go through life.
Yeah.
They missed it. They missed a wonderful, abundant, amazing life they could have had. And I missed it for decades, but I'm glad at 50, I'm glad it showed up. But I guess I was a late bloomer. I can't, I was ready. Like they said at the start, when the student's ready, the teacher appears. And
Yeah.
I did.
Definitely. I love
Somebody's
when
watching this podcast,
yeah,
you're not in personal development. Take those words seriously. There's a reason why you're watching this.
absolutely. Simon, I love what you said about being the main character in your life instead of being the extra, just as many people actually do. And I heard one advice a while ago that really helped me like look back and change perspective from a situation or a choice I need to make or a decision. And that is to think of yourself, if you were the main character in the story you are reading, what do you think the main character should do in this situation? And just like that, the whole perception would change, will shift, and you will look at things the other way. And you know exactly what the main character should do. But when you are in your body, in your very limited perspective, you are so limited and so blocked by your paradigm, I guess. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, no, we got blinders on. I always say this, it's impossible to read the label of a pickle jar if you're a pickle,
Yeah,
and so
I love that.
and that's one thing about the mastermind that I just love. It's like I'm not seeing this. I have an obstacle. I know I need a way around it, under it, or over it. I'm not seeing it. Throw it on the table. I could do this, and I do this quite often. How would Bob answer this? How would such and such? But for the most part, I do my future self. And I don't know if people do that, but I decided to start doing it. So I would write my future self 5 years from now, and then go sit in that chair and reverse engineer and go, how would he 5 years from now
Mhm.
solve this obstacle? Because he would just crush it. I know it, because he'll be so much more evolved in and have so much more conscious awareness and growth and knowledge. And that's usually, if that doesn't work, then I bring it to my group and then throw it in my group. And someone there's got it, because they're not a pickle. They can read the label. They're not emotionally involved in the situation or the obstacle. They're not financially. It has nothing to do with them. And so they see it from like a bird's eye view, where I'm down trying to, run around and figure this out. They're just seeing and they go, oh, it needs to go like this.
Mhm.
Or I really like to listen to my gut and my intention, because if I go outside and I get really grounded out in Mother Nature, get my socks and shoes off, do some earthing, and I ask for the answer to be given to me, and I wait, and then all these ideas rip through my head, the second I have a very good disruption in my body, a different feeling, that's the one. That's the one. And then I go on it. And the weird thing is it usually seems from the conscious mind, it's like, no, but the paradigm's playing there. It's like, no, that's not the one, you know, blah, blah. But it's like, my body said yes. My mind is going, no. Well, don't listen to him. Listen to this. My heart and my gut are right. You know, intuition's like when God's talking to us. And so if I go to that, it's always right. But if I try and solve it with this, I screw up. It does. It happens. It's like, you know, it's the ego or the paradigm that's answering that one or giving you the direction. And they're not on your side. They're out there. That's the other team.
Absolutely. You know, that reminds me of what Bob says about rationalizing. He says rationalizing is rationing lies to yourself.
Yeah, you got to make a decision and quickly. That was a really hard one for me to get, and I'm good at it now. That, you know, Mel Robbins says that, you know, you got 5 seconds to act, and then that idea goes out. So I'm constantly. I've got 7 or 8 to-do list notepads when I'm working. If I get a thought and you know, I'm busy, I can't just act on it, but I write it down, because if I don't write it down, it's gone for good. And that could be could be $1 million idea. Or if I'm out with friends and I have this thought and I'm like, oh, I don't know my notepads, I email myself right there. And it just looks like I'm on my phone for a second. But when I get back to my workstation, it's like, there it is, write it down and then look at it and stuff, because I don't want to leave any rocks unturned. You never know what we're missing. You know, and if you're not organized like that, it's like, I find it's like somebody running upstairs with 2 handfuls of water. By the time you get to this, there's so many holes, you end up with nothing at the top. You know, go up the stairs with a bowl, something secure and stuff. So I'm always looking how I can secure what it is that I'm doing as far as my thinking and thoughts, and not letting them go to the wayside and missing them. Because again, you never know, that thought or idea could be the $1 million idea. But it's real easy if you just think about it. You get excited and you think, oh, I'll look at that later. There's no later, it's gone.
That's totally true, because we get distracted for a reason. Our paradigm distracts us for us not to go act on that new foreign strange thing that is unknown to the paradigm. So it would do its best to make us totally forget about it every time. You know, many of my listeners are actually coaches, and many of them are PGI consultants as well. But not only that, I also have CEOs, I also have authors, all kinds of business people, and people who are doing their best to become successful and are thirsty and hungry for success ideas and success tips. So do you have any tips for anyone looking to achieve rapid success, just as you did in their personal development or professional endeavors?
Yeah, I'll just speak out of experience. The more I got involved, the more I studied, the more I got out. So if you want to speed up your goal, speed up your studying, double down, triple down, quadruple down. There was days, you know, I look back and go, okay, well, why did I have such fast success? I knew I was going to get it, but why? Well, it's easy. When I studied 6, 7 hours a day, as opposed to an hour a day, well, I'm putting a week's worth of studying in one day. So I'm speeding up that time. I'm closing that gap of me and my goal, what I want. Now, not everybody has that kind of time, but I created it. I took a job for lesser pay that last year that I was in BPC, that I knew I was going to have a lot of time on my hands at that job. So, you know, I sacrificed about, I think it was 50 grand a year, but I got my time. I bought back my time, really. And this job enabled me to have like 4 or 5 hours at work being paid of doing nothing, sort of sitting around. And so I was like, and that's what I did. So, and I knew that. And so I got that. I created because people are like, oh, I can't find the time. It's like, well, no kidding. Time's not lost. We all have the exact amount. You have to create it, you know. And when I started looking at how much time I was wasting on stuff, like I used to watch a lot of TV. What a waste of time. Like I wasted years. I wish I could have back. Like, I don't own a TV. I won't watch a TV. I don't watch news. It's negative. I read books. I go for walks. I do healthy habit. My habits now are always working me towards my goal. And if it's not, then that habit's gone. It's not a good habit. So get rid of it, burn it, get a new one, and watch what happens. And I just started peeling away things out of my life to create something that was just much more healthy for me. And in lieu of it, I reached some big goals really fast. Like, it's like you can tell with the consulting business, like I don't think anyone's ever got a bronze pin in 12 days.
Yeah.
And it was actually one day. It was my first day, which is crazy. And then I set another goal. I was like, I'm gonna get the next pin right away. And then that was 90 days. And I'm like, wow, I just 10x my yearly income into like a month. And like to me, that was insane. Like I just was like, wow. And my new goal is even bigger than that. And if I look at, I'm on path for it too. I don't know how I'm going to get it. It's super scary, but I'm working on it, and I won't quit till I get it. And I know I'll get it. I have the belief, and I know the system works because I've done it now. And if anyone's watching right now and they're not sure, get rid of that 1% of not sure or BS, because that held me back for a little bit at the start. Somebody said, if you're 99% in, you're 100% out. And that 1% will stop you from getting the results. When you give everything to this material and this way of thinking and this lifestyle, the sky's the limit. I mean, your life, you're driving the bus now. What a way to live. Like, what a way to live. And then you just want to share it with everyone. And by wanting to share it with everyone, you're just going to attract more clients. It's easy. I haven't even done any ads or funneling or social media or anything. All my 70 clients in 7 months came to me. I didn't go to them. I completely 100% attracted every single one of them without any effort at all. And that's a lot of money. I'm not even a year. I'll probably do $1 million this year with doing really nothing other than just studying, learning about myself, this work, and believing that the law of attraction works and implementing that stuff into my daily life. And things don't work out my way. That's okay. That wasn't meant to be. That you got to be okay, but you got to be ready to take the licks too. There's failures along the way. People see the success story because you're not posting your losses and stuff that that
Nobody
happen.
shares that.
No, but it's been a rocky road, but a great rocky road. It's better than the old road. Fighting the terror barrier has been a big battle, like a never-ending boxing match, it feels like, because as soon as you turn a C goal into a B goal and the B goal turns into an A goal, well, then you're leveling up. You're just constantly fighting this thing. It's like, and as your goals get bigger, it's getting bigger too. So you got to get bigger. And the only way for you to get bigger is more studying, more awareness, learn more about yourself, get more disciplined.
Because every time you are approaching a new goal, you're approaching it with a new version of yourself, with a new level of awareness, with so much more knowledge and wisdom and experience as you did the times before. So it totally makes sense for the goals to get bigger, because otherwise we're not growing.
Yeah, and that's success, right? It is, the path. It's the growth. When I retired and made turned my yearly income into a monthly income, that was one of my other goals that I had for my very first year. When I had 3 of them. When I reached a certain amount of real estate in a year, when I reached all 3, and they were a 2-year goal, and I did it in 10 months. I looked back and was just like, wow, what else can I achieve if I set, and like you'll hear a lot of people say, and I'll say it too, I didn't set my goals big enough. My C goal was a C goal. When it happened in 10 months, it's like, I'm going to 10x this thing. I'm going to make it really big and really go for it. And then, and as you get close to it, once I achieved my goals last year, I wasn't surprised and I didn't feel anything, because I had lived in that future from visioneering so much I knew the feelings behind it. I knew what it meant to and how it felt and stuff. And it just felt normal. I knew it. I've been there already. You know, Joe Dispenza says something not exactly like this, but you want to get to a place where you remember your future,
Mm-hmm.
not your past. And I don't remember last year really that much, but I can tell you, I know what next year looks like down to a T. I know what my shoelaces look like and the color of, you know, the grass and the tint and everything. And so when I walk into that future self, it won't be like, oh my gosh, I've already been there. I know what it looks like.
That's so beautiful. And that's a superpower we all have. That is future memory, tapping into the future and really being aware that we can literally design what the future looks like. But nobody actually is spending time really designing that picture, that frame with whatever it is that would make the future what we want. The people, the places, what we're wearing, what we're feeling, how we are talking, the people we're meeting, whatever it is that we want our future to look like, we have to stay in that vision. We have to come there and stay there often and for a long time, as much as we can, and often through repetition, everything changes. So Simon, to end this amazing episode today, I want to know what's next for you. I know you are starring in a movie, so tell us more about that.
Yeah, that's so crazy. So the Science of Getting Rich was the first any sort of personal development course that I got. Obviously, I went out and bought the book, you know. It's what led, like I said, and it was for you too. It's what led me into Bob Proctor's work. It was prior to that was a movie that I had seen. It was called um, How Thoughts Become Things by Douglas Vermeer, and it has Bob and all the secret cast in it and whatnot. And so I bought the movie because I wanted to watch it, and that's when I saw Bob Proctor, and I was like, "Who is this guy? What this guy is like." He was like almost spitting. He's yelling, and I'm like, I know he's not selling something here because it wasn't like that. He knows something. He knows to the truth core because the passion he was giving off, I could feel, and I'm like, I want to know more about this guy. I want to know what he is because I had that before in life, and I think we all have, where you feel so passionate, and I could feel that. And I'm like, and the things he was saying were exactly what I was looking for and wanting to hear, and I think I was searching for them for a very long time, obviously in the wrong places. And so I was like, Bob, I need to know more about this guy. So I did, and obviously I got Science Getting Rich, BPC. Well, I'll go for move ahead a year and a half. I built this coaching program. I have a gentleman named Valen who knew Bob, wrote a book with Bob about public speaking, and he reached out to me and we became friends, and he's now, partners on the back end of my coaching business. And he knew Douglas. And so I was away last month fishing in Tofino, deep sea fishing, just on a bit of a reset to, before I come back and really go at some my seagulls again. Just, we need that time sometimes to check out. We've been going hard. It's, go, just be with nature and maybe get away from work a little bit. Well, he called me up and he said, hey, do you want to be in the movie Science Getting Rich? And I'm like, what do you mean? And I'm like, you mean the summit? Because this is when PGI was doing the summit. So I was just getting ready to go to my townhouse that I had rented, and I was going to sit back and watch the summit. And he said, listen, this happened, and I ended up chatting with the producer who I know, and I was telling him about you. And he said, you know what? I think I want to put this guy in the movie. So but I want to see who he is. So I sent him some stuff. I got some stuff from Tracy, some of the Q&As and interviews that I've had with the consultants, and I sent them to him so he could see what I looked like and how I spoke about personal development. And then he was like, I want, I definitely want you. So my fishing trip ended, 6-hour drive, ferry ride, airport, back to Calgary. And then, I walked in this production place, and I meet the producer whose movie changed my life. And I'm going to now be in the Science of Getting Rich movie alongside Bob Proctor and Joe Vitelli and John Assaraf and many, many, many others. And I just like, how did that happen? How is that happening? So I missed the summit because I was filming the movie, and I'm to this day, I'm like, why am I in the movie? I'm just new at this. There's so many people out there that are so much further ahead than me. But I attracted it somehow, without a doubt, because there's no other explanation. Um, so and now it's led to another movie that I'm going to be in called The Lost Message, which is going to be a massive one as well, and a whole bunch of other ones and stuff. So, and then there's another book, The Science of Getting Rich, that the producer's going to put out, and it's just all this massive, crazy stuff is happening, and I'm really not out looking for it. It's just coming to me. There's this big path that's been laid out. And I'm just sitting back with my bag of popcorn in my head and just going, thank you, God. And accepting it, accepting the good. That's another thing that people, I think, when you set that intention, make sure you're open to receiving it. You gotta, I think a lot of people, they don't see the value in themselves. They don't think they're worth it deep down, and not consciously, but probably subconsciously, and if you don't understand what that means, we don't have time here, but read a book by what is it, Maxwell Maltz, Psycho-Cybernetics.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing book, and that helped me with my self-image, get to believing that I'm going to be that big person. I want to be I want to be on that top shelf of personal development, so I can, and not because I want the notoriety or anything, or I care about the movie status. It's because I can reach more people and help more people, because I want to carry out Bob's legacy. I get to live this life because of Bob's material. I owe it to Bob to carry his legacy out until, hopefully I meet up with him wherever that may be.
Simon, I feel like you're just getting started. There's so much more that you are doing and so much more coming up your way, and you keep attracting these things, and you keep attracting bigger and bigger things and bigger goals. And that is truly the essence of success. And you are truly a remarkable example of success as we all want. So thank you so much for being an amazing guest today on the Success Catalyst. This is what the episode is for, talking about success. And you are an amazing example of how easy and simple success can be. You just need a step-by-step process that is provided by Bob Proctor in an amazing way, in a very simple way that even a 5-year-old can follow and can comprehend.
Yeah, one of my stepdaughters has already read Change Your Paradigm, Change Your Life. And she's 10, and she's already changing, and I'm watching her little mind already shift. Wow. into stuff. So there's no age. I personally, if you have kids, get them thinking like this, because otherwise they're going to be getting a lot of negative stuff from society. It's BS. It's not true. They can do anything they want. We can do anything. We are God's highest form of creation. So we should be, and we owe it to our Creator to go out and live these fulfilled, abundant lives. He put us here. Now it's our job to go and live these lives. We're not meant to live in lack and poverty. We're not meant to.
Wow. Simon, I couldn't have figured out a better way to finish this episode. So thank you so much for these words. And thank you again for being an amazing guest on the Success Catalyst. For our listeners, thank you for watching or listening, whatever you're listening to us from. Could be on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or other platforms. Thank you. This was Nina and Simon in the Success Catalyst podcast, and we'll see you again in the next episode.